Hey, what's up, lightboltjoe here. Today we are going to discuss Season 2 of EbTV's original show, Teen Wolf, based off of the 1984-85 cult classic film Teen Wolf, starring Michael J. Fox. Season 1 came out June 5th, 2011. Season 2 dropped June 3rd, 2012. About a year. So, Teen Wolf Season 2 is 12 episodes long, just like Teen Wolf Season 1. I'm wearing my Styles Zelinsky Beacon Hills jersey today. I have 2 jerseys. I have a hoodie. I got 3 items. That's it. So we're just gonna cycle through them as we continue talking about our beloved franchise. So Season 2 starts out with Gerard Argent, who is Allison's grandfather, Chris's father, Kate's father, coming back to Beacon Hills for Kate's funeral, but also to get revenge on Derek for killing Kate, even though he was getting revenge for Kate killing his family. It's a lot of revenge stuff going on throughout the show. But it's layers of revenge. Why is Gerard actually back into the fold? Why is Allison's mom becoming a teacher within the school? Why is Gerard becoming a principal within the school? What's the master plan for everyone? So, good halfway through the season, we still have, Styles' dad and Lyndon Ashbury's character and Melissa Ponzio's character of Mama McCall, Scott's mom, both are in the dark about what's actually going on with the supernatural aspect. And then things happened. Episode 10, well, more than halfway through. And so the truth is revealed about the supernatural aspect. Scott is a werewolf, and, what happens after that. So it's a lot of things go on. Lydia is hallucinating, but she's conversing with younger Peter Hale in ghost form, who's figuring out a way to get her as this soon-to-be, blossomed banshee, because she's immune to the wolf bite. She hasn't died. She hasn't turned into a werewolf. She's just there. But what is she turning into? Who? Eventually, we know she becomes a banshee. She screams. We hear the screams throughout the series. Peter's plan is to come back to life, so with the help of Derek. So that's why Lydia poisons everybody at her birthday party. Brings Derek to the Hale estate to have Peter's corpse not feed on, but like claw onto Derek to get the power back to have him come back to life. Okay, before all of this, Derek is in the process of getting his own pack together. He gets Daniel Sharman's character of Isaac Leahy into the mix. He gets the character of Erica. He gets the character of Boyd. So Derek has a pact, right? Why does Derek have a pact? Derek has a pact for A, strength, but B, for what's coming next. The Alpha Pack is coming. That's what Season 3 is all about. Well, the first part of Season 3. Season 3 is split up into 2 parts. Part A is the Alpha Pack. Part B is the Kitsune. Oh, can't wait for the Kitsune. So, another important part about this is a character called Matt. Matt is brought into the mix as well. Matt is a photographer. Matt, Erica, Boyd, and Isaac are 4 new characters brought into our sophomore group of characters. Melissa Ponzio's character literally says you want to make it to junior year. So it's indicating that they're all still sophomores, even though in the first season it's alluded that they're all juniors because they all turned 16. Or like partially 16. Some of them are 16, some of them are 17. So it was that cusp. But now it's official. They are technically sophomores in the year 2012. 6 years ago was the 2006 Beacon Hill swim team. This is plot points of what this new Kanema character, this lizard-like creature with a tail and venomous liquid, who is this Kanema character? Why are they being controlled? Who is controlling them? All of these different things. There's a lot of different stuff going on in Season 2. It's not just black and white anymore. It's not a matter of who's the alpha. It's the Argent storyline going on with the Kanema storyline, mixing into both together, mixing into Peter coming to life, mixing into the Alpha Pack coming to Beacon Hills. Why is the Alpha Pack in Beacon Hills? So many different things. We eventually get the play-about of Danny helping Matt, helping Jackson, all helping each other to recover some footage that Jackson took on a camcorder. And they reference it as a tape. What happened with the tape? What happened with the tape? It's all digital. It's not an actual physical videotape, but it's all digital. So Jackson wanted to see if he would change into a werewolf on the first full moon. He didn't, but something happened. Footage was erased. But how was the footage erased? Where's the 2 hours? So in the master plan of everything, it turns out that Matt was the master of the Kanema, and he wanted revenge because he actually died, and he wanted revenge on the people who killed him which would be the 2006 Beacon Hills lacrosse team, plus Isaac Leahy's dad, who was the coach, they all had not really conspired, but threw 9-year-old Matt into a pool where he drowned, and then they brought him back to life, and they made him swear never to, talk to him again. So that anger-filled helped bring about the rage, and paired with the Kanama, who he happened to come about to then, wreak havoc on those. So that's where the murder comes from. But what's really cool, what I really like about this show, my train of thought's going everywhere, is Matt, Erica, Isaac, and Boyd, right? The 4 new not main characters, but secondary characters. It's not introduced as they have just came to Beacon Hills. They were all introduced as, oh yeah, remember when Isaac did this, or remember when, don't forget, Erica suffers from epilepsy. So they're there, they're known characters to the group of characters we all know and love. It's not like they're like Allison's character just moved to Beacon Hills. These are characters who all have been in Beacon Hills. We just didn't know they existed until right now, this very moment. Very cool. I like when they do that little play on. There's a specific word for it, and I can't remember the name when a character is introduced, but it's not referenced that they're a new character. It's just alluded that they've always been there in the background. This is just the first time we've seen it. There's an actual specific term in literature, and I cannot remember the name of it. It happens a lot within Buffy the Vampire Slayer. Michelle Trachtenberger's character is Buffy's younger sister, who's really a demon and puts this memory spell on everybody. We find out seasons later, but it's a term that, she didn't pop up to, season 5 or 6, and all the other characters were like, oh, I haven't seen you in so long. So it's alluding to the character's always been there, just this is the first time we're actually seeing them. There's a term, and it pisses me off that I can't remember it, but this is what all those characters were. So there's your fun little story fact of how these characters were introduced. So Allison's mom being attacked by Derek because he's, fighting in self-defense. The whole gay club scene of Styles and Scott trying to save Danny from Jackson being a killer, Kanama that he is. What else? The very first episode, Gerard being introduced with taking the literal broadsword, cutting an Omega in half. The first episode was called Omega. Guts just coming out everywhere. The gore level and the blood level just amps up totally. We learn all about Mountain Ash. We learn about Wolfsbane a lot more in this season compared to the first season. Why is Gerard in Beacon Hills? That all comes back to this. If Matt was the master, all of the plans were revealed that he was the master controlling the Kanama, in that 10th episode, Jackson paralyzing Styles and Derek and having them fall on each other in the sheriff's office. Hysterical. There's a lot of funny points in this moment, but there's a lot of heart. There's a lot of drama. There's a lot of oh my God, I feel so bad for this character, even though it's been on for 10 years. I know exactly what happens, except for what the hell happened to Danny's character. Still my main focal point of a question. What the hell happened to Danny? Besides the fact and point. I was trying to say fact and point at the same time. It came out point. I like it. It's a good word. Besides the point. What happens next? If all this is revealed in this 10th episode, what happens in the next 2? So there's a big lacrosse game. There's fighting. There's Gerard revealing the master plan. He's actually dying from cancer. He wants the werewolf bite. That way the supernatural aspect can actually heal him rather than modern medicine, which can't heal him. But Scott had a master plan all along that he and the vet, whose name I can never remember, who's working with the guidance counselor, who all have this other master plan. They are poisoning Gerard with Wolfsbane, knowing that Gerard is eventually going to get this wolf's bite. If they give him the Mountain Ash, if they give him placebo pills of Mountain Ash when he actually gets the alpha bite from Derek, it'll kill him, theoretically. So when Gerard gets the alpha bite, and then instead of the red blood, it's this black goo just coming out everywhere, much like how Jackson had the black goo when he was rejecting the wolf bite. What happens to Gerard? He just disappears, right? So Erica and Boyd are now on the run, but they get attacked by this new Alpha Pack who's in Beacon Hills. Isaac is with Scott, with Derek, with Peter, in the sense of all trying to figure out what the hell's going on, why the Alpha Pack is now coming, because they see the Alpha mark on the door. Alpha mark on the door. Alpha mark on the door. This one. This tattoo. The Alpha mark on the door. Love that symbol. Love all the symbols. So what happens next, right? If Allison's now the head woman in charge of the Argent family because her mom decided to kill herself because she can't be a werewolf, how improper, right? Stupid. But things, right? What's Scott's mom character dealing with her son being a werewolf? How is she going to help within all of these things? Lyndon Ashby's character of the sheriff, how is he going to help now within the future things? A lot of this season is about what happens next, and that's really cool because it's its own conclusive season, with a nice little twist at the end of like what's up with this alpha pack. I like it. It's very smart. Very quick, very dramatic, very, very upsetting at certain points. But you see the characters grow. You also see the actors grow. This is the first like big, thing Dylan O'Brien ever did. Dylan O'Brien's an A-list celeb at this point. He's always doing something. He's always on every red carpet event. He's just incredible with his acting. And in this second or third episode, something like that, he's at a mechanic shop and he's like fiddling with his phone. I have nothing to fiddle with. And you see his hands just like start to do this like tremble thing, and then they like cramp up like that, and then like he just drops the phone and he himself drops, and you're like, oh, that's acting right there. And it's cool watching it now compared to the first season where he was learning. And it's neat watching different interviews with him and him praising Teen Wolf, saying that was acting 101. Like they all learned how to act while on the set, doing different takes and doing experimenting with different ways on how to portray these characters, portray the scenes. So to watch him do that and watch him get emotional, and when he grabs onto his dad and he does the squinting thing with his eyes, like he's trying not to cry, but he wants to cry. It's just so cool watching that from an acting perspective. It's talent. It's very hard to do. And it's very hard to convince an audience a specific emotion, especially if you're not currently feeling that specific emotion. It's not so much method acting, it's a matter of convincing. And to do that squinty, pouty, cryy thing to like get the waterworks going, it's hard to do. He knows how to do it. That's impressive. So I'm gushing from a fanboy perspective on the actual show, but I'm gushing on a fanboy perspective of the actual actors and actresses honing the craft, giving us these memorable performances. Season 2 is awesome. Jackson being stabbed by both Derek and Peter at the same time to withdraw the Canaminus, and he then becomes an Omega werewolf. What happens next? So many things are important within Season 2 leading to Season 3, and Season 3 is in 2 parts. Season 4 is in 1 part, Season 5 is in 2 parts, Season 6 is in 2 parts. So, we got a lot. We got a lot more episodes. It's 100 episodes in total. We're 24 in. We got a lot more to go. On to the next. Mucho mahalo.